Welcome to Connecto, the platform for all your API lifecycle needs. Connecto is proudly announcing the launch of Autonomous API Test Harness. Get ready to tour our API Test Studio. Log in or sign up from Connecto.io. Use your LinkedIn credentials for sign up or login. After successful login, you will be at Connecto's dashboard page. Click Create New Project from the left-hand top corner. You will be presented with a choice of Design Studio or Test Studio. Click Test Studio to build your Autonomous API Test Harness. Start by naming your API test project. Upload the JSON-based Open API specification for the API that you would like to test. Connect your SQL Server database using host connection strings. Invite your collaborators on this API project. Let Connecto's NLP engine does the magic of matching your API attributes with domain models. You will be presented with a Test Studio screen. On the left-hand side, you will see the endpoints and operations from your JSON-based Open API spec. On the right-hand side top panel, you will see your attributes mapped with data models by Connecto's NLP engine. On the right-hand side bottom panel, you will see your contracts automatically loaded from your JSON-based Open API spec. Validate the design and contract structure. Validate for each of your GET, PUT or POST, request and response structure, including query or path parameters, headers, response body, as well as error codes. Let's simulate your design and validate the experience of what the request and response payload would look like. Click on Simulate and select your respective operation. Click Send to see what the response structure would look like. Now that your contracts are validated, you may be prompted to confirm any missing mapping for attributes with domain models. Publish your design. Our Open API governance engine will take care of validating your contract syntax. Your API Test Harness is now ready to download. Download the API Test Workspace from Connecto's dashboard. Set up your API Test Workspace locally on your desktop or on a remote VM through simple command line or terminal steps. Unzip the API Test Workspace download. Launch terminal or command line and run the shell or PowerShell script offline deploy. Your reusable API Test Harness is being set up locally. When you are setting up Connecto's API Workspace for the first time, it takes about a few minutes. For future downloads, the setup should be fairly simple and quick. Please make sure you have Docker installed on your environment. Your setup is now complete and API Test Harness is installed locally as Docker containers. After your offline deploy is successfully set up, give it a few minutes before you launch Connecto's API workspace locally on your favorite browser of choice. Launch your browser, enter the URL localhost :3002. You should be able to see your API test project from the dashboard. Select your API project to use the auto-generated test harness for your API. Navigate to various tabs like Visualize, a visual representation of your open API spec. Virtualize mock endpoints for your API. Test data, generated by Connecto for your API. Tests, functional and performance tests, auto-generated for your API. Test results, report for your test executions. Visualize represents your API contract structure, all related information like status code supported, API attributes, contract operations, etc. for each of your endpoints. Virtualize represents complete mock for your open API that is locally hosted as a REST endpoint and can be consumed by upstream or downstream dependent teams building or consuming on top of your API. Each mock endpoint comes with respective mock data that can be consumed by hitting the REST endpoint from any web or mobile client. Connecto generates synthetic test data for your entire SQL Server database on which your API is built. Insert the generated data into your test database by clicking on Insert. If you need more test data, click Generate More Data that can be downloaded from Connecto Project Dashboard. Inserting your data is required for zero-touch execution of tests generated by Connecto. Do you need run performance tests? Connecto can generate high-volume test data that can be inserted back into your database for executing large-volume API tests. Connecto generates all your API tests based on schema validation, contract structure validation, data types boundary condition, complex operation variants, as well as error conditions. Test data generated by Connecto is associated intelligently with your tests, so you are ready to run the tests effortlessly. Tests can be executed by Connecto's test controller on mock or on real API endpoints. Executed results are available for analysis in the test results page. Additionally, Connecto can generate basic load and performance tests that can execute on local desktop or on a remote VM. Connecto's performance test results can be analyzed with Grafana that is integrated into your API workspace. Repeat the test execution as many times as you need. Test data can be generated as many times as needed. If your entire API design has changed, go back to Connecto's Test Studio, upload your latest spec, and republish your API test workspace. If you are interested in our product roadmap or sign up for beta access, check us out at www.connecto.io/roadmap. If you're interested in learning more, try our free trial today or upgrade your plans at www.connecto.io. Thank you for using Connecto.